The once in humanity, I know it sounds hyperbolic, but it really, I say that because, until Bitcoin came along, everything that, and we all know that money is somewhat of a collective illusion. It's what we all agree. My core, I still got a lot of gold. I believe in gold. I run a gold fund. So, I think they both have a lot of merit. They're different. They have different risks and opportunities in each one. But yes, I think that the idea was I want to get the common man to understand, or a woman to understand, that we are in a fiscal mess, that's going to impact their lives in terms of inflation and the stock market, which is very overvalued in the future. And that if they don't have some allocation to gold and or Bitcoin, they're likely to I think, experience regret in the next 10 or 15 years. And so yes, I'm arguing for those two things. Now, obviously, as you know, I've gone full crazy orange pill. And I think Bitcoin is a more asymmetric bet than gold, and therefore I own more Bitcoin than I own gold. I didn't start out that way, though, by the way. What's happened is Bitcoin's gone up a lot. But so yeah, it's a call to try to help people to understand that monetary debasement is going to hurt them, and that the two right choices to solve that problem are gold if you're more conservative and you don't want volatility, or Bitcoin if you want to be aggressive and you want, more price performance. But the price performance isn't free. As you know, we've had, some huge drawdowns in Bitcoin, and people have to be aware of that when they get involved in it.
The two are almost diametrically opposite,
they are. And you're right. I do have a legacy gold fund, and I do still believe very much in gold. And I don't think, a lot of people think that Bitcoin's going to instantly flip gold. And I don't think that's going to happen, because there are 8 billion people on the planet that understand that gold is money. And it is, until Bitcoin came along, it's the soundest form of money. But the once in humanity, I know it sounds hyperbolic, but it really, I say that because, until Bitcoin came along, everything that, and we all know that money is somewhat of a collective illusion. It's what we all agree has, exchange value. This is Karl Menger's Austrian term. It's all a matter of perception. We perceive the dollar has value because we can go buy things with it. And, there was a time when that was shells and salt, and there have been tobacco, and lots of things have been used for money, but the dollar is what we use today. And until Bitcoin came along, here's the important point. Until Bitcoin came along, every form of money, every single one before, had dilution, which is to say that its supply grew over time. So the number of monetary units grew. Now, gold was the best. It grew the smallest at 1.7% a year, but it still grew. And in 50 years, we'll have twice as much gold on the planet. It's still much better than fiat, obviously. So here comes Bitcoin, and a lot of people say a deflationary currency can't work. We can talk about that, but here comes Bitcoin with a scheduled fixed supply of 21 million. That's it. And so that's different. That's really different. And I don't think hyperbolically, I kind of compare it to there was an era pre-air flight, and then there was air flight, or there was an era pre the telegraph, and then there was the telegraph, it's an invention. It's a type of money without any dilution. And that I submit that's an invention it's a meaningful invention, because we've had thousands of years of monetary dilution in history, and now we don't have it in this new form of money. So that's why I make the statement. I know it, to some people, I know it's hard to get your arms around it, and it sounds extreme, but it's factual. It's a form of money based on math.
But how do you advise people to sort of reconcile Metcalfe's law and the great power of exponential, opportunity that Bitcoin has with gold miners, that you still have such a passion for it? Is there a place for both in people's portfolios?
I think there absolutely is, Trey. I really do. I think that, look, we're all old enough and smart enough to know that there's nothing in life is certain. Even the success of Bitcoin is not certain. There's technological risks, there are other risks. And so, I think when you're investing, you want to construct a portfolio. And what I try to argue, I have a lot of clients who are on the older side, and I never suggest to any of them that they go heavily into Bitcoin. But I do suggest very strongly that they don't have zero Bitcoin, because the upside optionality, the asymmetry, and that's basically, look, why do you and I invest in gold miners? Because we know that they have an asset which, generally speaking, the prices and the valuations are so low compared to the underlying value of the asset, that if they're able to pull that asset out of the ground on some kind of reasonable terms, they're going to generate cash flows that are, multiples of what we're paying, even total market cap right now. And so that asymmetry in a gold bull market, and a gold miner bull market, gold stocks go up 10, 20, 50, 100x. And so that's the kind of, and now don't get me wrong, some gold stocks also go to zero. I've owned them. And but if you select them carefully and you get a balance, and you get more that work than not work, that's the beauty of the asymmetry there. So in life, I think there are room for lots of kinds of investments. I mean, about the only thing I do not recommend investing in now. I mean, even owning stocks, as overvalued as they are, there are some good stocks, particularly in the commodity space, particularly international stocks. Brazil's very cheap right now. But, the only thing I really think people just are silly or foolish to own is any kind of debt with duration. Treasury bills, 3 months, 6 months, a year, fine. You want to get your 3 or 4%, 5%, that's great. But, 10-year at 4%, no. A 30-year at, 4%, no.